All right, so we are going to begin the question session practice, and we are going to begin with question number five. So question number five के सबसे पहले statement है, it begins with the question define velocity. So yes, may I have reviews from your end? What does the term velocity means? Can anyone like state it on mic? Yes, people. How to define velocity?
Rate of change of displacement.
Yes, it is called as rate of change of displacement. So how will we be writing it out as rate of change of displacement? So this is how you are going to define velocity. Let's come up to the question. Next question says that there is a ball of mass 0.445 kg. It leaves the edge of a table with a horizontal velocity v as shown in figure 2.1. So this is a figure which is being shown in front of you. There's a ball which is going to fall down from the top point and is going to hit the horizontal surface on the floor. And the path of the ball is just like a semi-parabolic sort of. The height of the table is 1.25 meter. The ball travels a distance of 1.5 meter horizontally before it hits the ground. So before hitting the ground, like at this specific point, the horizontal gear distance given to us is 1.5 meter. Question says the air resistance is negligible. So we are pretty aware that when air resistance is negligible, we take the acceleration equivalent to gravitational acceleration with its value as 9.81 meter per second square. Question says calculate for the ball the horizontal velocity v as it leaves the table. तो जैसे ये table को leave करेगी, we need to find out the value for horizontal velocity. Okay, I taught you few parameters regarding the projectile when we studied it during the lesson. That horizontal, the direction of horizontal motion. Whenever we are having the horizontal motion, our acceleration along horizontal will be zero, and our velocity along horizontal is always constant. This is what we studied regarding the horizontal parameter for the projectile. And whenever there is a vertical scenario, in the case of vertical, we are always going to say that acceleration along vertical will always be constant, and that constant acceleration is actually equals to g. So it depends whether it's rising or falling, positive, negativity, it depends upon that. And last but not the least, the velocity along vertical is always changing. When it is rising, it is decreasing. When it is falling, it is increasing. So let's see if we need to find out the horizontal velocity. We need to find out this horizontal velocity as mentioned in the question is related to v. So we have to find out the value of v. It means horizontal velocity. For finding out the horizontal velocity, we are only going to use the formula distance over time. Why we are going to use distance over time? Because acceleration is zero and speed is constant. And whenever the speed is constant during that motion, we use the formula for our mathematical computation as v equals t divided by t, distance over time. Now which distance is going to be taken? So we will be using the horizontal distance. So what is the horizontal distance given to us? It is 1.5 meters. So again, I'm going to use the same logic which was stated earlier. Whenever we have to find out the horizontal parameters, we are going to take the help of horizontal components. And whenever we have to find out the vertical parameters, we will be taking the help of vertical components. So if we need to find out the distance, so next thing is time. So we are not having any time in this question. So first of all, what we are going to do, yeah, what will be our task is, we will be finding out the value of time. So how this time value will be found? For finding out the time,
Okay.
we will using the we will using the equations of motion along vertical. So along vertical direction, how we can find out the time. So vertically, our initial vertical velocity is zero. When the body is falling, its acceleration is 9.81 meter per second square. And we need to find out the time. and vertical displacement given to us is 1.25 meters. So all this information is provided to us. So to find out the time, we will be using the equation S is equals to UT plus half AT square. And from this, we can say our value of S is 1.25. So instead of S, we will be using 1.25. The value of U will be written as 0 plus half 1 by 2. Acceleration will be 9.81 multiplied by times square. So moving further, how we are going to find out this time? Our time will be found when we are going to solve this whole relation. This time will be equals to 2 multiplied by 1.25 whole divided by 9.81, and there was a square on time, so we are going to take the under root. So the value of time after solving whole of this, we will be revealing the value as 0.50 seconds. So time we are going to get is 0.50 seconds. Now we need to find out the horizontal velocity. How the horizontal velocity will be found? The horizontal velocity will be found with the formula that speed is equals to distance divided by time. So see how will this work? So we know speed is equals to distance over time. So to find out the horizontal velocity, the horizontal distance given to us is 1.5 meters and time given to us is 0.5 seconds. So 1.5 divided by 0.5 will be giving us the value as 2.97 meter per second. Actually, this time is 0.5048 seconds. So I have just like uh, rounded off. Okay, Rosalia, I'm just repeating when we are going to use the formula of V is equals to d over t. Though I have like stated it several times in the class and else before as well. So we are going to use the formula of speed as distance over time whenever acceleration is zero and body is moving with a constant speed. जब भी speed constant होगी, जब भी velocity constant होगी, formula हम कौन सा use करेंगे? V is equals to distance divided by time. Yes, student, is this question understandable? Shall I move on?
Sir, when acceleration is zero and speed is constant?
Yes, when acceleration is zero and speed is constant, we use the formula speed is equals to distance over time.
Okay.
Yes, Abdullah Rashid, we are on page number. This is question number 5 actually of your projectile part. Okay, Mohin Raja, why we considered U as zero? Because we were discussing the motion along vertical. For finding out the time, we were discussing the motion along vertical. So when the motion was along vertical, so you see बॉल यहाँ फिक्स पॉइंट से गिर रही है जहां पर आपका वर्टिकल कंपोनेंट इनिशियल वर्टिकल कंपोनेंट ऑफ वेलोसिटी इज कंसिडर्ड एज जीरो. Is this fine, Moin? All right. So moving onwards to the next part, come to the next part. Question says part number 2. Find out the or calculate the velocity just as it hits the floor. How we are going to find out the velocity as it is just going to hit the floor? Hitting the floor means like when this ball or this ball is going to hit the floor, its velocity will be somewhat like this. So we have done similar question previously as well. So you know when it is just about to hit, this velocity is going to have two components. One is going to be the horizontal component, which is VH, and there is one going to be the vertical component VV. And we know during the projectile motion, our VH remains what? Our VH remains constant. the value of VH is not going to change. So we just found the value of V, and what was the value of V we just had? The value of VH, which we just found, was equals to 2.97 meter per second. So it will remain constant throughout. So the value of VH will be 2.97. Now, the main task is what is going to be the vertical velocity of the what is the final vertical velocity of the ball just before hitting the ground. So let's see how we are going to solve it out. So we need to find out the vertical component, vertical parameter. So we are going to discuss the motion. We are going to discuss the motion along vertical dimension. So how the motion along vertical will be discussed. So we know initial velocity vertical is what? Zero. So we know we need to find out the vertical velocity. It is to be found. And we already had the time of flight from the top to bottom. And what was the time of flight we found in the previous part? That time is equals to 0.504 seconds. And what else we are having? Acceleration when the object is falling downward. So when the body is falling downward, the acceleration is 9.81 meter per second square. So using the relation v is equals to u plus 8t. So what values we are going to plug in over here? We are having a velocity. We need to find out the vertical velocity v. Our initial velocity will be 0. Acceleration will be 9.81, and time, which we found previously, was 0.504. So when we are going to multiply them, this is actually our vertical component, final vertical component of the final velocity. So this vertical velocity will be what? 9.81 into 0.505. So it appears as 4.95 meter per second. But this is actually not the final answer. We need to find out the velocity with which it hits the ground. So V is equals to under root VH का square plus VV square. So to find out the final velocity, we just found the VH velocity in the previous part. That was appearing as 2.97. So it is 2.97 square plus 4.95 square. So this vertical velocity will be, this total velocity in fact will be equals to, when we are going to solve out this, it will be 5.8 meter per second. So magnitude of the velocity which is going to appear is 5.8 meter per second. So yes, people tell me, is that understandable? Okay, moving onwards, next it says find out the angle of the velocity to the horizontal. Yes, guys, how we are going to find out the angle of the velocity? What is the meaning of, by the way, angle of the velocity? So let me first change the marker color to distinguish it. Angle with the horizontal means, okay, for instance, if this is our velocity which we have found, so we need to find out this horizontal angle theta. So you people are pretty aware if our how our diagram is going to be formed for this specific case. Our diagram will be forming in this specific case. Okay, this is the horizontal velocity, this is going to be the vertical velocity, right? And this one is the actual velocity v. So we can say this is the vh, this is the vertical velocity. And if you want to find out this angle theta with the horizontal, तो आपके पास एक triangle complete हो जाएगी जिसमें आपके पास vh की value है. What is the value of vh? We found it was 4.95. And what is the value of horizontal velocity which we found in the previous part? It was 2.95. So हमें perpendicular, so this is actually 90 degrees, so हमें perpendicular का भी पता है, base का भी पता है. So how we can find out this angle theta? The angle theta will be found from a relation of tangent theta. So you know, if we apply the relation as tan theta, tan theta is equals to perpendicular over base. So value of perpendicular velocity is how much? 4.95 whole divided by 2.97. So to find out the angle, what will be the value of this angle? Angle theta is equals to tangent inverse of 4.95 divided by 2.9 of 7. So we are going to divide this, and our eventually answer is going to appear as 59 degree. So angle to the horizontal will be how much? It will be of 59 degree. Yes, people, is this question understandable? Okay, moving onwards to the next part. Okay, let's move to the next part. Question says, find out the kinetic energy just that hits the floor. So at the time being, we have not studied the kinetic energy but you have already having an information about the kinetic energy as per your previous knowledge. We know kinetic energy is equals to what formula? Half mv square, and this is equals to the mass of the ball. The mass of the ball is initially given to you, which is 0.45, so it will be half into 0.45 multiplied by velocity square. So velocity is the total velocity which you found in the previous part. This will be 5.8 whole square. So always remember, while you finding out the total kinetic energy, we will be using the total velocity. So eventually when we are going to solve this out, that 1 by 2 into 0.45 into 5.8 square, this will be appearing as 7.6 joules. So our total will be 7.6 joules for this specific case. And next, you have to find out the potential energy. So gravitational potential energy's formula is mgh. And we are knowing that mass is given to us is 0.45. The value of g is 9.81. And the height given to us is 1.25. We are always going to take the vertical height. What is the vertical height? This is the vertical height given to us, like 1.25. This 1.25 is the vertical height in this specific case. So 1.25 over here, when we will be multiplying it, so our answer will become as 5.5 joules. So loss in gravitational potential energy is 5.5 joules. Now the question says why the kinetic energy of the ball in B does not equal to the loss of gravitational potential energy. हाँ जी, क्वेश्चन तो सही कह रहे हैं, देयर इज नो एयर रेजिस्टेंस, तो फिर जो सारी की सारी आपकी इनिशियल ग्रेविटेशनल पोटेंशियल एनर्जी है वो सारी काइनेटिक एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट हो जानी चाहिए. बट वी नो when the projectile was at the top point, the ball still have the horizontal velocity. ठीक है? The ball has an initial horizontal horizontal velocity. So due to this, all of the gravitational potential energy is not converted. Yeah, all of the kinetic energy is not equals to the gravitational potential energy. So we will be studying about these conversions in the coming chapter of energy. Moving onwards to the next question. Guys, come to question number 6. Yes, question number 6 is pretty important and pretty different. So let's see what is being present in question number 6. So everyone is with me? All right. Come to question number 6. Question number 6 begin with a term which is called as define displacement. So what is displacement? How we are going to define the displacement? The term displacement will be defined as, I taught you during the lesson, distance, distance covered in specific direction, distance covered in specific direction from a point. This is how you will be defining the displacement. So displacement is distance covered in specific direction. Okay, Rosalie is saying the straight directed path covered by a body अच्छा देखो, मीनिंग वाइज ये डेफिनेशन सही है, बट वी हैव टू कीप सम टेक्निकलिटीज कवर्ड इन आवर डेफिनेशंस। क्योंकि डिस्प्लेसमेंट और डिस्टेंस में प्रॉपर डिफरेंस डायरेक्शन का ही है, तो हमें डायरेक्शन का नाम लेना स्पेसिफिक पार्ट में जरूरी है। That is the distance covered in specific direction from a point that is more suitable or demanded definition as per the Cambridge. Next question is you have to find out the you have to tell about the acceleration. So how do you explain acceleration? Acceleration is defined as rate of change of velocity. So how much velocity changes in how much time, that will be called as that will be called as sir, can we say displacement is velocity into time? No, beta, we are not going to state that displacement is velocity into time, mind Kamran. And what if we say the velocity into time? ये बेसिकली वो वेलोसिटी इनटू टाइम है नहीं, डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज एक्चुअली वेलोसिटी है क्या, चेंज ऑफ डिस्प्लेसमेंट ओवर चेंज इन टाइम। सो जो वेलोसिटी बेसिकली इक्विवेलेंट होता है वो चेंज इन डिस्प्लेसमेंट के इक्विवेलेंट है, change in displacement in respective time. Okay, moving onwards to the next part. Uh, let's see what is being asked over here. There is a remote controlled toy car which moves up a ramp and it travels across a gap to land on another ramp, right? So there is one car, this is one of the car, and this car is going to flow or move from here till this point, right? So ये दोनों ramps के ऊपर मौजूद हैं, और क्या क्या रहा है यहाँ पे वो क्वेश्चन, the car leaves ramp P with a velocity of 5.5 मीटर पर सेकेंड। तो ये इसकी इनिशियल वेलोसिटी है जिससे वो लीव कर रहा है इस रैम्प पी को। एंड इट इज दिस रैम्प एंड दिस इज लीविंग एट एन एंगल ऑफ व्हाट डिग्री, इट इज लीविंग एट एन एंगल ऑफ थीटा। The horizontal component of the car's velocity as it leaves the ramp is 4.6 मीटर पर सेकेंड। इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि जो कार है इट इज हैविंग अ हॉरिजॉन्टल वेलोसिटी वी एच ऑफ हाउ मच वैल्यू, द वी एच वैल्यू इज इक्वल्स टू 4.6 मीटर पर सेकेंड। So the horizontal velocity VH is 4.6 meter per second, and the car lands at the top of ramp Q. The tops of both ramps are at the same height. Both of the ramps are present at the similar height. This is and this specific height. Both the heights are same. And they're apart at a distance of what? They're apart with a distance of d. And in this specific question, air resistance is negligible. So let's see what is being asked in this specific question. It says, show that the car leaves ramp P with a vertical component of velocity as 3 meter per second. So what it says that you have to prove that vertical component of the velocity is how much? It is equivalent to 3 meter per second. You need to prove this. You need to show this. So whenever the term show is there, show means that you have to prove this whether the vertical velocity is 3 meter per second or not. So in fact, we need to find out what? We need to find the value of our vertical velocity. So vertical velocity is to be found. This is to be found, right? Okay. Apart from this, we are provided with the horizontal velocity. What is the horizontal velocity given to us? The horizontal component of the velocity given to us is 4.6 meter per second. And we are given with the the total velocity with which it is being launched, and that velocity is 5.5 meter per second. So the final velocity which we have, the total velocity which is given to us is 5.5. So we are pretty aware that we can find out the velocity from the formula V is equals to under root square of horizontal component plus square of vertical component. So we will be using this formula to solve it out. So how this is going to be done, the vertical component. So first of all, V is given to us as 5.5, which is equals to under root VH is given as 4.6 square plus V square is to be found, right? So we are going to take the square on both sides. 4.6 square will be subtracted on the other end. And finally, we will reach to the vertical component of the velocity after resolving it as our final velocity will be equal to 3 meter per second. Ji bacho, is this fine? Just tell me, is this fine? Yeah. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on to the next part. What does the next part is trying to say? The next part say determine the time taken for the car to travel between the ramps. You need to find out the time. So how will this time is going to be found? सी टाइम आपको चाहिए कहाँ से लेके कहाँ तक इस स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट से लेकर till this ending point where this car or is going to stop on this ramp queue. So starting point is this, तो कितना टाइम लगा इस रैम्प तक पहुंचने में. ओके, सो हाउ वी आर गोइंग टू फाइंड इट आउट. इसका तरीका वही होगा. इसको मैं थोड़ा सा यूं एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ यहाँ साइड पे कि दिस इज द कार. The car is being launched and the car reaches to the other end of the ramp. So we are having the ramps on both the sides. So when we are having the ramps on both the sides, so what it signifies कि कितना time लगेगा यहाँ starting point से लेकर ending point तक. So let's define this whole motion into three parts the way we divided or did with for its derivation as well. So the time taken from A till C will be same as the time taken from C to B. ठीक है. सो इस टाइम ए से सी तक के टाइम को मैं T1 कह देता हूँ, ए सी से बी तक के टाइम को मैं T2 कह देता हूँ. सो इट मीन्स आवर टोटल टाइम विल बी इक्वल्स टू द टाइम टेकन फ्रॉम ए टू सी प्लस द टाइम टेकन फ्रॉम सी टू बी. These timings are going to be equivalent, right? Okay, so let's begin from this. For the motion from A to C, A से लेकर C तक की motion को पहले हम discuss करते हैं. So what is happening from when we are moving from A to C? Our initial velocity will be the vertical velocity. So our vertical velocity will be what? Vertical velocity हमने अभी ऊपर find की है. This is equals to 3 meter per second. This is our vertical velocity. When it reaches to the point C, our final vertical velocity becomes 0, and we need to find out the time, and our acceleration is what? So when it is rising, our acceleration is minus 9.81 meter per second square. So to find out the value of time, we will be using what formula? The formula to be used here is v is equals to u plus at. So what is the v? V is the final velocity, which is 0. U is the initial velocity, um, which is 3. Acceleration will be minus 9.81 and time t is to be found. So यहाँ से हमारे पास time की value आ जाएगी. Time is equals to 3 divided 9.81, and this time is actually equivalent to what one single value. This is the time. This is actually the time t1. 3 divided by 9.81. So this is roughly equivalent to 0.305. So total time will be what? Total time will be same as T2. So the total time will becomes twice of 2T1. So it will be 0.61 seconds. So this is going to be the time which we are going to get for the whole flight, 0.61. It is a similar way, the way we derived the relation for time. Yes, beta Maheen, why is it minus 9.81? Beta, we studied that whenever any object is rising, is moving away from the gravity, the acceleration due to gravity is taken as negative 9.81 meter per second square. Jay, is it clear to everyone? So we just got the time. The total time is 0.61 seconds. Okay, moving onward to the next part, we need to calculate the horizontal distance. Again, the technique is what? To find the horizontal parameter, use the horizontal components. To find out the horizontal distance, what is the procedure we will be using? horizontal distance is equals to word horizontal velocity multiplied by time. So we just fetched the time in the previous part, and that time was 0.61. So what is the horizontal velocity we had? The horizontal velocity which we just found, or which was in fact given to us in the question, is 4.6. So it is 4.6, and we just found the time as 0.61 in the previous part. Our distance will be equals to 2.8 meter. So our final answer is 2.8 meter, right? So you need to calculate the ratio of the kinetic energy at maximum height and ratio of the kinetic energy of Earth as it leaves. So we know that the formula of kinetic energy is what? It is half mv square. So half mv square, what is the velocity when it is at the maximum height? It is only going to be the horizontal component of the velocity. And what is the velocity when it is leaving the ramp P? It is the total velocity, right? So we are having the total velocities as what? 5.5, and the horizontal velocity when it was at the top, because vertical at the top is 0, so it will be 4.6. So you will be using what for its ratio? जब भी ratio का सवाल है तो दोनों ratios को divide कर देना है. So how will this be divided? Half m